Are you looking to move to Austin, Texas soon? People from all over the state and even outside of the state move to Austin on a monthly basis. And while this can be an exciting, fun, adventurous time for you, if you don't pick the right place to live that matches your lifestyle or your expectations, it can lead to a very poor experience and an overall poor opinion of Austin or even Texas as a whole. So in this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 places that I personally don't recommend living until you've explored them and you can verify that they match the expectations that you have for what you want in a place to live. Hi, my name is Jordan Brown. I'm a resident and realtor here in the Austin, Texas area. And for the last decade, I've helped people move here to the Austin, Texas area, whether that's the northern, central, southern suburbs, and really get to know what people have liked about their experience living here, why they move away from the places that they chose to initially live in. And my clients are really great about giving me feedback. So the opinions that you're going to hear from me today are a mixture of my own personal experiences as well as those of my clients, friends, family who have lived in the area. It's all one big jumbled up mash of information for you, and hopefully it'll help you make a decision as to where you want to live, or more so where you don't want to live. Try not to read too much into this. I am not an elitist kind of person. I am just trying to help guide people who don't know anything about the area. You see an option pop up, you may want to know what you're getting into and what people who have lived there before have said. I always found that was very useful information, is learning from other people who made that decision before me. So I personally think that number 3 on this list is going to be a big shock to people, but I'm going to let everyone know the exact reasons why these 5 places made it into the top 5 of this list. Number 5 on this list is going to be Manor, Texas. Now, you could even throw Elgin into this because Elgin is basically Manor, just even further out. And for me personally, the reason that I do not like the idea of living in Manor is the traffic. The traffic in Manor is horrendous. There's only one major highway system that runs through all of Manor, east and west, and that is Highway 290. It even goes through where the airport is in Austin. So you can imagine that in the mornings, how congested that area gets. And I wish it was only the mornings that was the case. Anytime that I have driven through Manor for showings, visiting friends or family, it's probably one of the least enjoyable experiences that I have while in my car. Manor is a very underdeveloped city, so that doesn't help. I don't think that whenever they were making the infrastructure plans for this city, they thought, oh, well, Austin's going to become the hottest place to move to during the pandemic. And therefore, a bunch of people, the reciprocal interest that happened from that, put out kind of a ripple effect that we were not prepared for and never thought we would need to be prepared for. There are so many traffic lights. Top that with there's not a lot to do. Manor just, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of it. I don't think that many people are. If Manor's really close to where you work, that's probably the one redeeming quality that I could see there. What Manor does have going for it is within 30 minutes of Austin. The home prices are a little bit lower, so your money goes further there, but you have to have your expectation that you are going to be pissed off every single day sitting in that traffic. I promise you. It's also a very boring place. So if that's your jam, boring, traffic, but affordable, Manor's your place. Number 4 is Pflugerville, Texas. Aside from having what is quite possibly one of the worst, weirdest names for a Texas city, I also am a big hater of the infrastructure, mainly the roads in Pflugerville. The best way I can describe it is that if I'm going to Pflugerville, I've basically already mentally accepted the fact that there is a not amazing chance, but not a 0% chance that my car is going to be damaged by the potholes or the uneven lanes. Maybe I'll get into an accident. If you've never been, it won't take long to find exactly what I'm talking about. And then there's like this main concourse area where it's like the main drag in Pflugerville, and the roads are so confusing. You're going in over here, but then you're taking a left, but then you're gonna go right. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's a very confusing mix of interchanging lanes. Whenever you traditionally you just have 2 lanes going this way, 2 lanes going that way, and they don't, cross over and intersect and all that in between. So Pflugerville is one of my least favorite places to commute and get around. That's what I'm getting at, is the infrastructure makes it frustrating for commuting. Also, it's on the east side of I-35. Most locals and people who have rented here, that lived here, will tell you that the east side of I-35 is where a majority of the less desirable neighborhoods and areas of choice are for those who are looking to stay long term in the area. Number 3 is actually Lago Vista. I love Lago Vista. It's in the hills. It's got a beautiful scenic drive into it through Jonestown and through all the hills. I've been pulled over a couple of times just because of that. There's kind of a speed trap. They really slow it down on you, and unless you're cramming on your car brakes, those cops, man, they eat that up on the ticket money. But Lago Vista is a beautiful area. I love it. You're right by the lake. Again, I mentioned the hill country. My biggest issue with it is that it's far as heck from everything. You're talking about to go to like a local HEB, you're driving half an hour to Cedar Park and then half an hour back. Versus if you live somewhere a little more centralized, there's an HEB what seems like on every corner. So if you're moving to the area for work and literally anywhere else other than Lago Vista, I would mentally prepare to be traveling a lot every single day. And really, there's just not a lot for entertainment either. Like I mentioned, you're right there by the lake, so there's the outdoor activities, the weekend activities, but I'm thinking about just on a day-to-day basis, there's really not a lot to do. And you can forget about shopping. It just doesn't exist. Number 2 on my list is Jarrell, Texas. Now, Jarrell is known locally because a lot of the builders who are building out in Jarrell will tell you, well, there's a lot of future potential here because there's rumor that Disney owns land in Jarrell, mass amounts of land out in Jarrell. Now, I haven't personally verified this. However, I have not seen anything value-wise that reflects this massive rumor. Jarrell is flat. It is underdeveloped. There is legitimately nothing to do. I said Lago Vista had nothing. Jarrell, Texas has nothing. I have clients right now who are selling their house to get away from how separated, secluded, and just flat out boring Jarrell is. But you know what? You may love that. It definitely reminds me of more rural Texas. So if you're trying to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city, Jarrell may actually be a great option for you because it's also very affordable by comparison. Jarrell has one local grocer, and that is a locally owned spot. It's very small by comparison, especially if you're coming from somewhere like a Whole Foods or an HEB, a Randall's or something like that. This is going to be a change of pace for you. Then as far as like coffee, dining, shopping, I want to say they have a Starbucks and a McDonald's, and that's about it. But like I mentioned, that might be your jam. There was a lady who lived in my neighborhood here in Leander, Texas, who sold her house here, moved to Jarrell, and I was just curious. I said, hey, you went from this really bustling up and coming area. We're getting a Costco, we're getting a Super Target like less than a mile from us. And she moved and made the decision to go to Jarrell, where there's nothing. And I just asked her, I said, what do you think? What's your feedback now that you've been there for a little bit? Once she said the bang for the buck is unmatched as far as what, $400,000 can get you in Leander, Texas is very different than what it will get you in Jarrell, Texas. So your dollar goes further. Number 2, she said she actually loves the small town feel of it. She said whenever she goes to places, it feels like people recognize you because you're one of their only handful of clients that go out in Jarrell. So the Starbucks person starts learning your name, they start learning your order, little things like that. But I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that most people who are moving to the Austin, Texas area are not in it for boring. And the number 1 place that I wouldn't recommend that you move to without doing a lot of due diligence, can you guess? If you have a guess, let me know down in the comments right now. If you guessed Killeen, Texas, you're correct. Killeen is known mainly for Fort Cavazos, which was formerly Fort Hood. It's largely a military presence that buy and rent there. And the main reason that I say that this is somewhere you want to avoid and why it's number 1 on this list is really just the quality of life and when it comes to safety especially. Killeen has a higher national average for many major crimes, and while it's gone down year over year the last couple of years, it's still above the national average. And I know great people that live in Killeen. A lot of our military, our veterans live in Killeen. It's not that you can't have a great life there, that you can't enjoy your time. You just have to be aware of your surroundings. And unfortunately, Killeen is one of those places that is riddled with issues. I'm sure most people would love to have tons of entertainment, tons of dining, tons of shopping, high paying jobs, and everything that comes with what most people look for in a place to live. And Killeen, unfortunately, to me and to a lot of others who are like me, who have lived around here, would tell you that it's not exactly the most desirable place for long-term living. The Texas summers are coming up and they're notoriously hot. So while the Texas summer isn't cool, you know what would be cool? If you subscribe to my channel. All joking aside, I really do hope that this video will help put into perspective and maybe give you a local insight into some of these places that you may or may not be considering to position yourself, your family, whatever your situation is, and the reason that you're moving here to Central Texas. I hope this video is helpful. Now, I will be making a video about my top 5 places that I would love to live, and I'll be making that either next week or the week after, so be sure to tune into that. And in the meantime, if you or anyone that you know is looking to buy, sell, or invest in Central Texas, the Austin, Texas market, I want to be a resource for you. My contact information is down in the description below. If you click that link, you can also get access to my free home buyer's guide. So if there's anything in the world that I can do for you to help transition your family here to a life in Central Texas, please, I would love to hear from you. I'm looking forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.